Transfer show where we discuss all the latest transfer news and give it that real fan opinion. We're going to talk Pogba and Ronaldo. Bloody hell, we only put it up as a poll on Twitter about an hour ago and the responses to it have been pretty funny. But let's talk about that. I also want to talk about Jose Mourinho, what he's saying about the transfer summer. We're going to talk about the midfield, the youth and what that might mean bringing back, because there are people on loan. And also we're going to talk who would replace Anthony Martial if he goes, because it's one thing everyone's saying he's going to go, but you can narrow down to who's going to replace him to about 3 or 4 players. So we'll be doing that as well. Let's start off with this Spanish report then, that Cristiano Ronaldo and Paul Pogba could be involved in a big swap deal this summer that would see Paul Pogba escape his Manchester United nightmare to go to Real Madrid and Ronaldo escape his nightmare to come to Manchester United. Quite both why of them are having a nightmare, I don't know. Ronaldo's about to win, or hopefully about to win 3 Champions Leagues in a row, Ballon d'Or, the lot. And Pogba's earning good money and idolised at Manchester United, so why would that happen? And also, how does that fit into Jose Mourinho saying that we're not going to spend big this summer, there'll be basic rebuild and we're not going to spend what we can't afford? Well, personally, I think that's a smokescreen. I really do. I think that's a smokescreen. I'll tell you why in a minute. But in relation to Pogba versus Ronaldo, I can tell you that we put a poll on Twitter of this. Would you swap Pogba for Ronaldo? Around 80% said no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't do that. And I don't know why that is. Maybe that's because Ronaldo's been here before. Maybe it's because he's an attacker and we need midfielders and Pogba's a midfielder. Maybe it's because Ronaldo's 33 and Pogba's in his mid-20s. I don't know, but it's very encouraging and I applaud those people who've said that they wouldn't swap him for Pogba. They wouldn't swap Ronaldo for Pogba. So I applaud those people because actually, you know, Pogba's a Manchester United player. That loyalty, really, really good. If you want the honest answer from me, would I swap Pogba for Ronaldo? Damn bloody right. Yeah, I would. I mean, I'm older than a lot of you anyway, but I remember what Ronaldo was like at United. I've got a massive affection for him. I know he went off because he wanted to go. I'd love to see Ronaldo back in a Manchester United shirt. 33 years of age is a nonsense. It's a fact, but it's a nonsense. It was only a couple of weeks ago they ran a load of tests on him. He's got the fitness level and body physics of a 23-year-old. He will be playing at the top level for at least another 4 years. So that the age thing doesn't worry me. I think if you put Ronaldo in a United team, we score a lot more goals and we probably win a Premier League title. But, you know, I understand it as well. He's an attacker. Where would Ronaldo play in a Manchester United side? Well, he could play left back. He could play anywhere. He'd be better than some of the players we've got. But we've just bought Sanchez, who plays off the left, which is where Ronaldo can play. And we've got Lukaku up front, who's done very well, which is where Ronaldo can play. So unless Mourinho was thinking, well, I will put Sanchez on the right-hand side now, I don't see where Ronaldo fits in at United. And actually, I think Ronaldo at United doesn't fit anyway, because we don't create the chances that Ronaldo needs to stat pad. So it would never, ever happen. It would never, ever happen. But if it was on the table, I would probably do it. I probably would. You only live once. Ronaldo's one of the best players that will ever live. Of course, I'd love to see him back in a Manchester United shirt. But I do totally respect everybody saying that they would keep Pogba. I love Ronaldo, but it's not going to happen, says Zotti Moon. And Ronaldo wants to end his career at Madrid. End of discussion, says Magnus Olsen. Look, if Madrid let Ronaldo go, they're idiots. He scored a cracking goal a couple of weeks ago against Juventus. For me, he's still the best player in the world. It's not going to happen. But I would say anything can happen in football. And as I was saying a few weeks ago, Pogba will stay at Manchester United. But if Pogba was leaving Manchester United, then Real Madrid's probably where he's going to go. And transfer deals do get done unofficially now. So it could happen. I don't think it will, but it could happen. It's worth mentioning. And I wanted to mention it more because I was more interested to see whether people would do that swap deal if it was on the table. Because and I'm glad that most people wouldn't. But on to real things, because Jose Mourinho has said this. He said that, and that last report was in the Spanish papers for anybody who wants to know. But this has come out of Mourinho's mouth. Mourinho has come out and said that we won't spend more than we can afford. It's going to be a quiet window, and that's the way it's going to go for Manchester United. Basic improvement. Now, I don't believe you. I don't believe you, Jose. I love you. I don't believe you. You're lying. Because there is no way Jose Mourinho would have signed a contract extension like he did back in January if he knew that there wasn't promise of big funds in the summer. There's just no way that would happen, because he's been unable to compete with Man City this season. It's partly because of the big funds that Pep can spend. He won't like being in the shade of Pep Guardiola by what, 15, how many points is it? 13, 16? I don't know. I can't remember. It's a lot. So he won't like that. So there's no way that Jose Mourinho would have signed the new contract knowing that he's going to spend less than Pep in the summer and that gap's going to get bigger and he's going to have to take more shade. That's not how Mourinho works. Mourinho is, like Tommy Docherty said, if he was a piece of chocolate, he'd eat himself. He loves himself. And I love Mourinho, but I don't buy into this, we're not going to do much in the transfer window. That squad, as we know, needs a lot of work. It needs 4 or 5 players shipping out. It needs 2 midfielders. It needs a left back. And it potentially needs somebody to come in if Martial decides he's going as well. So 4 signings at least. And that's if De Gea stays, which I think he will do, to be fair. And that's if nobody else leaves. So 4 signings is a minimum of what United need to do this summer. And that's not a quiet transfer window. So I don't believe that. I think what Mourinho, a bit like what he said the other day, it's going to be hard to catch City. I don't believe that either. I think Mourinho's got to win the title next year, and I don't believe for 1 minute he would have signed the new contract if he wasn't offered big funds in the summer. So I don't believe that. I understand why Jose's saying it, lowering expectations, smoke screen, whatever you want to do, but I don't believe it. Looking at the midfield options, at the moment, it's looking like Jorginho, the Napoli midfielder, who has been linked to United and also linked to Liverpool. Remember a few weeks ago, he did say, I want to play for a team that plays good football, and everyone thought that's directly having a pop at United. He's looking like he might go to Man City. So that is one thing we do need to bear in mind this summer, is that whatever we're looking at, Man City will probably have a look as well. And I have always said, the Alexis Sanchez deal, as much as we loved it at the time, I think City will have just bided their time with that and think, you know what, we'll sort you out in the summer. We've got bigger money than you. We'll sort you out in the summer. Whatever player you're going for, we'll get you back for Sanchez. And I do think that will happen. I worry a bit about Milankovic-Savic. The 2 midfielders that are really top of my list at the moment that look available and look like they'd be really good improvements for United if Carrick will retire and if and hopefully Fellaini goes, would be Milankovic-Savic and Fabinho. But we're probably going to face competition for both of those players. I think we'll do well to get one. I think we'll do well to get one of those 2. If we got both, happy days. But I think City will be in for them. PSG will be in for them. Maybe Real Madrid will be in for one of them. So it's going to be difficult. But they're the 2 midfielders. I don't really want to look beyond those. We know we need midfielders, but I don't want to look at beyond them. I mean, obviously there's Seri from Nice. He's quite decent, and there are others, but I wouldn't want to look beyond those 2, to be honest with you. I think they're exactly what we need at Manchester United. I did mention there about Anthony Martial and if he was to leave Manchester United. Now, I will say this, that I don't want him to go. We all know that. I'm not going down that road again. But if he did leave Manchester United, he would need to be replaced. And Jose Mourinho said that, I think it was yesterday or the day before as well, talking about the transfer window. He says there will be players who want to go because they're not getting enough game time, and we'll have to tweak if they do go, which means he will need to bring replacements in. I mean, how catastrophic would it be if we let Anthony Martial go and then we didn't replace him? You know, that would be ridiculous. So if he does go, who are we looking at as replacements? And I think there's a short list of 4. They're all well-mentioned names and they all offer different things. Funnily enough, 3 of them are Brazilian, which is quite a funny situation. So you've got Douglas Costa, who's on loan from Bayern Munich at the moment to Juventus with the offer of a permanent deal. Not 100% Juventus are going to take that offer, so it could leave Costa available. He's in his mid to late 20s. He can play right and left. Brazilian, obviously. Fantastic on his day, but very, very inconsistent. I mean, is that an improvement on Martial? You're almost advising. You're almost describing Martial. You know, fantastic on his day, but a little bit inconsistent. So Costa for Martial, I don't think that's great. Willian, I think consistency and work rate is better with Willian, but he's 30. And again, do we want to be signing another 30-year-old? Malcolm at Bordeaux, probably the biggest punt of the lot. Although Malcolm is apparently nailed on to go to Bayern Munich, even though Arsenal think they've got a great chance of him. That's apparently nailed on to go to Bayern Munich. Great shot on him, great potential, but he is just potential. He's only playing for Bordeaux in the French league, and I think he's about 21, so he could be, you know, again, what's the difference between Malcolm's Brazilian as well. Malcolm, 21, potential, playing for Bordeaux in the French league against Martial, who up until January was one of the best players in the league. Again, it's a step down for me. And then that brings you to Lamar at Monaco, who is probably the closest thing to Martial. He has been doing well for Monaco. He is a French international. I think he's 22. Good at getting a goal, creative, fast. He's probably the one if Martial's going, I probably would be moving for Lamar. I think he's the one. He's got the right age group. He's got the right experience. But again, I still think Martial's better than Lamar. But what we're dealing with is if he goes. And that is the big if, isn't it? I mean, I throw that to you lot. If Martial was to go, who do you get in a replacement? And I'll guarantee you, top of the list for Mourinho will be 30-year-old Willian. He's not 30 yet. He's 30 in August. So by the time he signed for us. But I think that's exactly what we'll be looking at. And it would tick a big... I'm a big fan of Willian. I really am a big fan of his. Great work rate, plays off the right. He would be brilliant, and he's Premier League proven. But again, it falls into that trap of what we were speaking about last night. Short-termism. Short-termism is, where's Willian going to be in 2 years? Where's Sanchez, Matic, Fellaini, Lukaku, Valencia, Young? They're all going to be, either retired or on their way down, and that's why I don't really want a 30-year-old when we've just bought a 29-year-old winger. But we'll see what happens with that. Martial isn't going, says Don Snaps. I hope you're right. And Willian is good, says Sadin. You're right. Pulisic, says Stephen Taylor, way too young. No way Mourinho will go for someone that young. I don't think he's a teenager. Perisic, we might go back there, but I don't know how we'd manage to pull that off. I'd like Willian, but not for Martial, says Shots SN3. And it will be Perisic, says Jay Wood. I'm a big fan of Perisic, but he's a year older now, 29. So again, another old player. And Akash says, if Martial goes, I'd like Asensio or Timo Werner. Well, Asensio would be a lot of money and dealing with Real Madrid. Timo Werner is a good player. He is a good player. Our priority in terms of midfield should be for a conductor as opposed to another box-to-box midfielder. That for me means Jorginho or Cruz over Milankovic-Savic, says Claude Aranze. Good point. And let's just talk quickly about the players that are going to come back, because I've read a few people in the comments over the last couple of days saying we've got some really good youth talent coming through and coming back. Maybe we don't need to go that big in the transfer market. I would agree with that if Jose wasn't our manager, because he doesn't really use the youth. He doesn't use the youth. I mean, the big example of that is this week. Big week for us. McTominay's on the sidelines, not even on the bench. Angel Gomez made his debut a year ago. He's not even had 45 minutes since then in a whole season. So yes, we've got a lot of potential, but will he use it? Who have we got coming back? Andres Pereira, as I said last night. He knows Valencia want him, but he wants to give it a go at United. I think he can be a very good player. Will Mourinho give him the time? Axel Twansobi, Villa for the back half of the season. Not been playing that well. Not been playing that often. I think he's looking at another loan next season. Hopefully a Premier League loan. Fosu Mensah, up and down at Palace. It was going really, really well. Recently not playing, which is a shame. Fosu Mensah could come back and be a realistic option as a backup to Valencia at right back. I don't think we can afford to go and get a right back by the sounds of it. So I would like to see Fosu Mensah getting more game time as the backup for Valencia next season. And he'd be the one more, for me, who should be involved in the first team squad next season. Maybe Pereira. I don't see Twansibi being involved next year. I think he will definitely be going out on loan again. And Chong and Gomez, I think anybody who thinks they're going to be involved, you're stretching. You're really reaching. I think in a year's time, maybe. But both potentially should be looking at loan deals, because I can't see Mourinho giving them much time. I think next season we'll just see more of McTominay. That'll be the youth player, and Fosu Mensah. I think that will be it, to be honest. We'll see. We'll see. Sam Johnston probably will leave Jamie Johnson. He's on loan at Villa at the moment. They're very, very impressed with him. And he needs to play regular football. As a goalkeeper, you're not, we've got the best goalkeeper in the world. So Sam Johnston coming back from Villa, sitting on the bench every day, it's no good, is it? He wants to play regular football. And Villa could get promoted. De Gea staying, says Elliot Pipe, question mark. Yes, I think De Gea will stay. I haven't seen enough around De Gea to make me think he's going to go. In previous years, even last year, it was built up a bit. However, having said that, I do remember with Ronaldo, the season it went a little bit quiet before he went, and then he went. So, never say never, but I think if De Gea leaves United, that would be a real blow for us. It'd be a blow anyway, but, where are you going to go for a replacement? It'd be hard. Amy Anderson says, is this all real? Ronaldo for 7 or bloody rumours? Okay, Amy, if you've joined us a little bit late, it's in the Spanish press from yesterday, talking about Ronaldo Pogba swap deal. I don't think it's going to happen, but I do think it's an interesting debate point, which we started off with, that would you, if that was on the table, would you swap Ronaldo for Pogba? I personally would, and I've explained why, but I'm in the big minority there. 80% people have said they wouldn't swap him for Pogba. So, and that's good, because Pogba is a player that we should be building our team around. So I think the only reason it could happen is if there is this sort of fallout between Mourinho and Pogba, and it's like, get through to the end of the season and then you can go. But I don't think that's going to happen. I wouldn't take. I agree with Gazel Cesar. I think that Gareth Bale would be a terrible signing for United, especially if it was for a young player to leave as well, to get another 29-year-old, and he is very injury prone, would be really odd. Pankaj says, would you swap Martial for Milinkovic-Savic? I wouldn't swap Martial for anybody. No, I wouldn't swap Martial for Ronaldo, actually. I'd swap Pogba, I wouldn't swap Martial. I wouldn't swap Rashford for Ronaldo either. I think them two players are very important to United, and I wouldn't be looking to sell them. Anyway, please do drop a like on the video. Really enjoy the Red Rumours show. I know that people don't like the whole Ronaldo-Pogba thing, but grow up and have a debate. It's not about Ronaldo being better than Pogba. It's about being bloody grown up. And people who start getting upset about it and saying silly little things, seriously, do grow up. It's a debate point. We're not The Sun. We're not the Daily Mirror. We're the United Stand. We're a fan channel. We can talk whatever we want to talk about, and it's real opinion, and it's your response to that. We have a debate. We don't have to be, oh, is it official, this, that, and the other. The United Stand's been going for 3 years. We talk about transfer rumours. Sometimes they'll be total nonsense, but it might create a debate point. Interestingly though, what do you think about Mourinho coming out and saying that we're going to have a quiet transfer window and we won't spend more than we can afford? I think that has to be nonsense, simply because I don't believe for 1 minute. I don't think he was happy last summer when he didn't get Perisic, and he mentioned that numerous times. And I certainly don't think, having been unhappy with what happened last summer, he would sign a new contract in January, knowing that he's not going to get what he wants this summer. He knows he's going to get what he wants, and I think it's all a big smokescreen because he knows he's got to win the title next year. Thanks everybody for watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, let the comments begin, and also I am going to pop a poll on here. Would you swap Ronaldo for Pogba? So if you are watching live, pop back in about half an hour when it's processed. If you're not watching live, there should be an eye in the top right hand corner where you can cast your vote on that. There's no 8 o'clock show tonight because it's Roma versus Liverpool on That's Football, and I'm out anyway, so I couldn't do the show tonight anyway. So there's no 8 o'clock show tonight. We'll be back again at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Keep getting involved. Keep joining the debate. Respect opinion, but express your opinion. That's what the channel's all about. If you think it's bloody ridiculous something, give us your thoughts. Don't need to be abusive. Thanks for watching. Brilliant in the live comments, as per usual, and I'll speak to you all soon.